Blog Talk Radio.
And good evening, and welcome aboard to Animal Advocates Radio, Voices Carry for Animals, number 466 shows this evening. And this is just amazing how this platform, over 10 and a half years, have brought so many of us, together, working together, the word getting out there and taking that action, which is the key to help these animals in need. I'm just going to go over a couple things and we'll get started with another great show this evening. My name is Debbie Dahmer, a.k.a. Mama Bear. And Mama Bear does care because she's on the air. But I hope all of you, keep spreading the word out there about these podcasts. Next Thursday will be the last show, December 5th of the year, taking off for Christmas and New Year's and getting ready for the new year 2025. So hope all of you join us next year. I have to tell you the bad news on Blog Talk Radio. I have to tell it on every show because I have different audiences. But Blog Talk, I got a notice in my email that they are closing up on January the 31st of 2025. So that was a shock. Been on air 10 and a half years with them. And so I got to find a new podcast. So I got to work hard to do that because I'm not going to shut down Voices Carry for Animals under no circumstances on this podcast, everyone. But I do, they're not going to sell it. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. There's something wrong with this picture. They're just going to let it go. They've been going since September of 2006. And I can't find a platform like them out there. So I've been emailing them, trying to figure it out, but it's confidential what they're doing. So I don't understand why it's confidential. But anyway, I want to, the good news is, this is awesome news, everyone, that I got on podserve.fm to save all my shows on Animal Advocates Radio, and that was a huge plus because now it's going to go out to all these podcast websites. I mean, there's Spotify, there's Apple, there's Amazon, there's podparadise.fm. You should see this list. So this show is going to massively grow in 2025, and I need all your help and support to attract more action takers because that's the key. But in another good news, the other night I started up a YouTube channel, Voices Care for Animals, starting up. So after the show this evening, it will be downloaded on the YouTube, and check it out. And you can subscribe free under Voices Care for Animals. I am on a roll. The Mama Bear is on a roll and will not stop. Catch me if you can. But anyway, you can listen to this show live from the voicescaringforanimals.com. That's my website. And you can also subscribe free there, okay? And also the Voices Caring for Animals Facebook page. You can follow me on there, my personal page. And there's Voices Caring for Animals support group. Helps out animals on death row, both in petitions and news and ways to take action out there, everyone. So please do your part and spread the word, because the more of us, we are power in numbers, people power in numbers, and that's what it takes to get them changes made for the animals, because they so well deserve. I will be taking calls later in the show. All these shows are archived, so you can go back and listen 24/7. And that call-in number is the same every Thursday. And I will be running shows until January 30th on Blog Talk Radio. So that's a plus. I didn't have to have a week's notice. But that call-in number is area code 310-982-4270. You'll be in the queue. Press 1 if you'd like to speak to the guest. And just try to refrain from any noises in the background. TVs, radios, conversations, and you're more than welcome to come on board. So, like I said, I will be taking calls. So, we got these last 2 shows going, and I will miss it, but I'll still be advocating on mine when I get a chance. So, but anyway, I'm going to be bringing the guest on. It's their first time, and I want to welcome both of them. They're hard workers. We've got a victory to announce, everyone, and I hope this is contagious and it goes state to state, because it's dealing with H4915, Circus Bill, Massachusetts, and Governor Healey signed it, and that's an act relative to the use of elephants, big cats, primates, giraffes, and bears in traveling exhibits, and show legislation banning the use of elephant, lion, giraffes, and other animals in circuses. This is a major victory here, and this is so awesome because I looked it up, and there's only 5 other states, New Jersey, Hawaii, California, Colorado, Maryland, that have it. I know Nosey's law was in New Jersey. She is comfortable in a Tennessee sanctuary, and thanks to Barbara Vet, Say Nosy Now, out there, big elephant hug to her and all her support and all her supporters. That not Lucy, but Nosy is comfortable. Lucy, we got to get out, everyone. Up in Canada, it's just unbelievable what this elephant's going to, and it's so sad and heartbreaking. But I'm going to go ahead and bring on my guest. I'm going to bring in Sheryl Becker, and she's founder at WesternMass.Animal Animal Rights Activists, and going to welcome her on board, because this is so wonderful having both of them, because the guest that came with her from Massachusetts for elephants is Glenna Waterman. But we'll bring her on in a few. But I want to introduce Sheryl. Sheryl, how are you this evening? You're live and on the air. Go right ahead.
I'm doing great. Thanks, Debbie.
Hey, you're so welcome. Always my pleasure,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, always. And looking forward to having you. I told you earlier, back in 2025. So I got to get it together and find another podcast.
Yeah, hope you can.
It's never easy, Yep. But you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, because that victory just happened. I mean, when I read that on Facebook newsfeed, I was on the jump to the ceiling. That it was so awesome. But go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started, with the Western Massachusetts Animal Rights Advocates. Go right ahead.
Well, okay. So first of all, it's Western Mass Animal Rights Advocates. But I always call it WMARA, so I'm going to refer to it as WMARA. But that's so basically I've always been an animal rights activist or advocate since I was even a little girl. I wrote a letter to the editor about a puppy mill store when I was 8, and that got me going. I took a little break because of school, and then in my mid-20s, I got involved with an organization called New England Animal Advocates, New England Animal Activists or Advocates, I'm sorry. That group got me going. The woman who founded it, she was my inspiration. She unfortunately died of cancer, but she donated, she gave us, when she was dying, $2,000 to help me. She knew I was getting a group going because her group basically fell apart. She couldn't run it anymore. So I started in 2011, thanks to Deborah Dachos. Deborah, I got the last name wrong, but I'm sorry.
That's all right, no problem.
She actually helped me get my group going. And so in 2011, I founded Western Mass Animal Rights Advocates, to Debbie Labruzzo. So it was just 3 of us. I was at a presentation at a vegan restaurant in Northampton, Massachusetts, and I met 2 people. One of which was the speaker. His name was Stephen Bernstein, and Steve and I were talking after his presentation. I told him, I really want to get a group together, and I want to start my own group. We need a new group. And, he seemed very excited, and he ended up telling me, he would help us, help me and this other woman who I met that night, who also was interested in starting a group. So we ended up having a little meeting a few days later, and we kicked off WMARA. We first meeting about a month or so after. There was a full house at the vegan restaurant. We got a Facebook page going, which now has 1,300 people, and we are we've accomplished a lot over the years, and we're continuing to continue our success. We have a lot of great campaigns going. We work with other organizations like Massachusetts for Elephants, and we just had that big victory, as you mentioned, passage of the Circus bill in Massachusetts. So, I don't know if I don't want to go on and on. I don't know if you want me to continue telling you about what we've accomplished or what our campaigns are right now. I'm not sure where to go.
Yeah, go ahead and tell us, because it's all important. Whatever you want to, the campaigns are important. People working together and working as a team. I mean, the super teams out there. That's how we get the victories, right?
Exactly. We are one big team. There are people who are extremely passionate in Western Mass, a lot of people who are very passionate about animals, and we have become one big family. So many people have worked, who have helped me run this group. It's not just like me running it. It's a bunch of other people. The woman, who helped me found, Debbie Labruzzo, she passed away, as I mentioned, but the other woman who helped me get the group going, Melissa Segal, She is now in California, unfortunately, but she was a tremendous help. And Steve Bernstein is no longer active, but he helped, like I said. But so basically, what we have been doing over the years is mainly educational demonstrations. We do tabling. We have been protesting at events, countless events. We're always out there. In fact, we had one today in front of Whole Foods in Healey. We are always out there giving the animals a voice. We promote veganism. Today, the day before Thanksgiving, we had some signs. We put some signs up, and we had leaflets right in front of Whole Foods along a busy street. So basically, we're working on. Let's see. So, okay. I've also been on the board of Massachusetts for Elephants since 2022, by the way. But we worked on so many campaigns over the years, and we continue to improve the lives of animals. And in 2021, we passed an ordinance in Springfield banning the retail sale of dogs, cats, and rabbits, which shut down a puppy mill store we had been protesting for 10 years. And we also, with the help of Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, put an end to a pig torture at Bay State Medical Center's Advanced Trauma Life Support training sessions and Bay State Medical Centers in Springfield. So we also, in 2019, that was 2019, we also helped end the Melha Shrine Circus in 2019. It was a great year, which had been using wild animals for many decades. And we have been, and since 2021, we've been working with PETA and UMass Students for Animal Liberation to shut down a horribly cruel monkey lab at UMass. They're using monkeys to do studies for women, postmenopausal studies to help women go through dealing with menopause. Now, monkeys do not even they don't have menopause. They don't have menstrual cycles. So it is the most absurd, ridiculous monkey use of monkeys that, I've ever heard of. And it's just a total waste. The monkeys are suffering and money is being thrown out the window, and that is our taxpayers' money as well. $4 million in taxpayers' money that the National Institute of Health. Yeah, it's funded by the National Institute of Health. So that money is not just torturing monkeys, but it's accomplishing nothing, and it's been going on for 20 years now, probably close to 20 years. So we've been getting a lot of publicity. Yeah, and we had a campaign kickoff with PETA in 2020 or 2021. I'm sorry. We had a kickoff, and Casey Affleck was there on campus with his mom, and it was wonderful. We got a lot of publicity. And we're protesting there at least once a month, every semester we're there. And we have been working very hard with PETA. PETA's been doing a great job on that campaign, and we're ramping up our campaign. We just had a meeting with them last week, and we're trying to get we're trying to put more ads up. We might get a billboard up. We have a lot of great plans in mind for next semester. So And like I said, we do a lot of outreach and tabling. We participate in the annual World Day for the End of Speciesism every year with a peaceful rally, and we usually do that in the Berkshires because there's, the Berkshires are in Western Mass, and we go all the way to the Berkshires sometimes, which is, well, it's about an hour from me, but it's pretty far from some of us. But then again, we can't forget about the Berkeys. We call them the Berkeys. So we protest furriers also along, we're going to be doing Fur Free Friday, protesting on Friday in West Hartford in front of a furrier. We also go to Connecticut because Connecticut is right below. So I live in the Springfield, Mass area. A lot of us are in that area, which is right on the border of Connecticut. So we do some Connecticut. Hartford is only a half hour away. So West Hartford, actually. We're going to be there on Friday for Free Friday in front of a furrier. We usually do that in November and December. We do usually at least 2 protests. There's also an L.L. Bean that we protest in front of in Healey at least once a year against the down and wool, leather. Let's see. We also protest a local dairy farm in Healey, which has calves and crates within view, right behind a busy shopping plaza. So we do that once a month. It's heartbreaking seeing those poor calves. We also protest local rodeos and fairs with animals and entertainment, including, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Big E, which is the biggest fair in New England. And it is 17 days long and has had countless Animal Welfare Act violations. In fact, in 2019, a seriously ill elephant, her name was Beulah, collapsed and died at the Big E on the 3rd day. Despite our complaints to authorities about her sickly appearance, we held a vigil in honor of poor Beulah shortly after her death, which got lots of press coverage. Actually nationwide, that was a story and broke lots of hearts, and I think it helped pass the Circus bill. But I would have called it Beulah's bill if I could have. So basically, we also participated. We don't do this anymore, but for a few years after Beulah's death, we did the International Candlelight Vigil for Elephants. Now we all do it individually from our homes, but we actually would stand right outside the Big E entrance, right next to where she died, with our candles. And it was in January. It's always in January, and it's freezing in January here, and in the evening. So we would do that. We did that for a few years after she died, and so. Massachusetts for Elephants participates in that as well. But since Beulah's death, the Big E has had no wild animals, quote unquote wild, because they claim that camels, according to the USDA, camels are not wild, but in my eyes they are. Unfortunately, they still have camel and pony rides and other animals, but no wild animals. And the petting zoo that's at the Big E is called Comerford Petting Zoo, and they have they owned Beulah, and they have had a horrendous history, so they also had they did have 2 other elephants, one of which unfortunately died earlier in 2019 they claimed kidney failure, but then they also still have one elephant, Minnie, that is not doing well from what I've heard. She's older and she's sickly. I've heard from people who have seen her, but they don't use her at events anymore. We have, Massachusetts for Elephants has been working on that campaign and trying to get her into an elephant sanctuary or someplace else in a better place. So I must tell you that Compassion Works International has been a tremendous help with our Big E campaign. Carrie LeBlanc, the founder and president of that group, she was from Western Mass, and she's now in LA running Compassion Works International. And Carrie has been, she helped us get our campaign off the ground. She helped us make flyers for the Big E. She helped us with signs and promoting it. And so, it's wonderful that, Western Mass, WMARA has connections and, other groups, fellow groups nationwide that have helped us tremendously with our campaign. So I can't take all the credit. So we used to do a lot of education.
Sheryl, that's awesome. I mean, wow, so inspiring and uplifting what you guys are doing. I mean, you're making a difference. It's not saying you're not. You're not spinning your wheels.
I hope so. December 8th, we're having a table at Stop and Shop, in front of Stop and Shop, and we're going to be holding signs and handing out literature. And so, we're continuing to do whatever we can to make this world a better place for our fellow creatures. We also, the Big E, we have it's so much better than it used to be. When we first kicked off this campaign, there was a trailer with bears at the Big E. There were 2 elephants, which unfortunately, one of which died, but 2 elephants giving kids rides over 12 hours a day on pavement and for 17 days. And, they also had a lot of wild animals. They had a kangaroo, they had lemurs, they had a few other wild animals. Anyway, so, it's amazing. They also had elephants. They also had wild animals in the circus there. And so we've made a lot of progress with the Big E. We're not done yet, but, I feel like we're really accomplishing something. We got a lot of media coverage over the years, especially since Beulah's death. So, something good came out of her death, but it's tragic that it had to happen,
Right, exactly, because we're the animals' only hope. We are their voices and actions. If we don't do nothing, nothing changes, and it gets worse, everyone. So, put that foot in the right direction and help them out as much as you can, because I always say, Sheryl, hey, multitask, help each other out. Because when we do that, we can automatically gain in strength. I mean, we get stronger and stronger, and it doesn't take that much time to do what we're doing. It's not that difficult. So true. You put your dedication into it and your mind and be relentless and optimistic, and because changes don't happen overnight, but you can make an animal that's in distress get them out of harm's way, because they don't deserve that. No,
exactly.
And I wanted to can you give the audience how you can they find you on Facebook and your website?
So our website is, we don't use our website that much, but if you want to join us, it's WMARA.wordpress.com. And our Facebook page is Western Mass, MASS, Animal Rights Advocates.
Okay, great.
And,
yes.
And we also have
awesome.
we also have a Facebook page So you can see the candle on our Facebook page, the vigils for elephants. Also on the page, and then we have another one, our public one, Western Mass. It has pigs, little pigs on as our picture. WesternMass.AnimalRightsAdvocates. In Laura in parentheses. That's how you can.
That is wonderful, and you could. And you know what? I'm going to bring on Glenna. You can stay right on air, okay? And
please.
Everybody, all these shows are archived, so you can always go back because they're all so informative and how you can help and look it out. And you guys, and there's the websites and the Facebook pages. Do your part and help them out because they need your support. The more of us that come together, the stronger we become and the faster the changes, right, Sheryl? That's what
for
it
sure.
takes.
Teamwork. Teamwork.
Yep, I believe it in all
for
the
elephants. They played a big role in passing the circus bill. So I'm going to hand over the mic to Glenna for that.
Thanks, Sheryl.
Yes, and they're so awesome. I just had Gentle Giant Stay Home Project on a couple of weeks ago. Colby Steiner and Dinah Munez had another great interview with them. And, I have a lot of shows on elephants. That's, all different animals and stuff, the platforms for, and I want Mary Ann Holm back on soon for Lucy the Elephant. And, it's just, when I have all this exposure, it's a huge plus, and gaining all these, podcast websites is even going to make it stronger. That, Sheryl, I'm doing the happy dance for that. And you too. And I'm going to bring on Glenna and welcome her aboard. Glenna, you're live and on the air. Go right ahead. How are you,
Debbie?
I'm
doing well.
Waterman. She is a co-founder of Massachusetts for Elephants. Thanks, both of you, for all you're doing, all your supporters and staff. It's so impressive and so uplifting what you're doing because they're all animals in my eyes. They all deserve better and better lives in the future. And it's all up to us to make it happen. Your actions mean so much. And you'll make an animal's life, better once you take that action. But, Glenna, you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, the co-founder of Massachusetts for Elephants, everyone, and so glad to have you both on board and looking forward to having you in 2025. But go right ahead.
That sounds fantastic. But first I want to shout out to my colleague, Sheryl Becker, because she's an absolute dynamo, and she lives, eats, breathes saving and protecting animals, and she's done remarkable things and made contacts, and I'm just so thrilled to have her on our board and to have her as a friend, and she's a real hero for animals.
Thanks, Glenna.
Yes. Awesome.
And my organization really grew out of what was originally Global March for Elephants and Rhinos, Team Boston. And that is an international march that happens once a year in the fall. Basically, people from towns or even villages in Africa and Asia, to cities like London and New York and San Francisco and Hong Kong, etc. People march in to raise awareness about the plight of elephants worldwide. And I found Andrea Zarin, who is the founder of Global March Boston, and asked if I could volunteer. And it was a great learning experience. She's a fantastic person who now has her own nonprofit to support elephant conservancy, wildlife conservancy in the Masai Mara in Kenya. And out of that, we learned a lot about how legislative bills move or don't move at all, and the games, politics, and we met all the players, advocates for elephants and other animals in the state, in MSPCA, Massachusetts Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, and the Humane Society, and IFAW, and Animal Legal Defense Fund, and WMARA, and other long list of other organizations, but and PETA, and we've been to hearings. We've had our hearts broken, thinking we were close to getting enough votes for the ban on wild animals like elephants and in traveling shows and circuses. And this year it was just something like a miracle, but it was long overdue. Over 20 years that this bill has been going through the system and dying in committee. So we're very, very
20 years?
glad.
Wow.
Yes. Is it 23, Sheryl? I'm not really.
Yeah, 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many people have advocated for this, and Sheryl has done battle with the powers that be at the Big E in Springfield, and it's not been easy for anyone, and certainly Sheryl can speak to being verbally abused, I think, and more. But she's such a brave, courageous person. She stood her ground for the Ellies and other animals, and but so my sister Sally and I, out of working with Global March for Elephants and Rhinos, Team Boston, decided that we would form our own group, and we founded Massachusetts for Elephants in 2012, and we're still a grassroots organization, but our goal is to keep building relationships and building a coalition, because we really believe and have seen that numbers of people who band together can really affect change and get noticed and speak for the animals who don't have a voice for
that's awesome. I mean,
their condition.
but all of us out there, working and doing what we can do, it's so meaningful. The animals really thank us when their lives turn for the better. They can't say it, but you could tell when there's the laws come in, because there's no excuse for animal abuse from any angle. All these animals, and I wanted to bring up both of you, 2021 and 2022, I was looking this up today because I could remember passing this around, because there was a lot of big animal organizations that had this bill, nationwide bill, TSPA, Traveling Exotic Animal and Public Safety Protection Act, Circus, and that included, carnival, circus, parades. And that bill, it died out. It just said introduced on Congress.gov, HR 599, and it had 81 co-sponsors. And on the Senate side, 32201 had one co-sponsor. If we could get another sponsor to take this bill on, because Animal Defenders International you should see this list, because I could remember passing that along, and this will be nationwide. Everyone, we got to get this back reintroduced, and in 2025, I will help you. I will back you. We'll have shows on it. You know what I'm saying? If we can find a sponsor, then we can work on the co-sponsors, because 81 co-sponsors is great. I looked at it, I was like, wow, what happened? So let's do it again, everyone, because it needs to happen. Let these wild animals live in freedom. They don't have a choice in the matter to go be in a circus or a zoo. They have their forced, okay? And it's animal slavery. They don't get to enjoy their lives. They live in, I seen photos. Just to take, for example, Nosy, before she got released to the sanctuary. She looks so sad and unhappy. You should see the videos now. She's very happy. Lucy looks very miserable. We got Billy, the elephant in L.A. There is a list of them. And so we have to come together stronger, and let's do this, because this bill is national, federal, and that would be wonderful. I would be really doing the happy dance, the victory dance. Would you two ladies? That
Definitely.
would be awesome.
Definitely. It is, as you said, there are 2 elephants in the Buttonwood Zoo in New Bedford, Massachusetts, who are suffering, and we are doing what we can to help them. There is a very powerful force to keep them at the zoo politically, and it's really tough because in all of these cases of captive elephants, it's about money, it's about human greed and profit, and they don't consider the animals as sentient beings or animals who have feelings, and they say, oh, we take the best care of them, we know our elephants. But the fact is that those elephants in most cases were taken from their mothers and their siblings and their aunties and brothers in a herd as where they would live naturally at an age as young as 2 years or 3 or 4 years, and they're taken away from their loving families and put in cages, and then the spirit crushing begins, which happens in Asia and in zoos in this country, all over the world, where basically they tie up the elephant and deprive them of food and water, and in other cases beat them until their spirit is broken, until they are in agony and they give up, because they are wild animals and they are not meant to have anyone sitting on their back or making them stand on a chair or ride a bike or do tricks. It is incredibly cruel, and I think in most cases the elephants kind of lose their minds. They exhibit stereotypic behavior like swaying and very other exhibitions of distress and loneliness, and basically they're kept in a cage when they usually in the wild would roam 12 to 25 miles a day, and they're deprived of any choice they're just forced to do what their human captors make them. And
and it's sad. It's profit over animals, and it's sad because they all deserve better. Like I said earlier, they're forced. They don't have a choice in the matter. Do you think they're happy? No, definitely not. Whatever wild animals in there, and I hope to see something come soon where they're all out. They get the freedom. That'd be a huge, massive victory. We don't need to see them in circuses. We don't need to see them in zoos. We got to get with the times, everyone, and do something, because it's going on year after year, decade after decade. And look how long it took Sheryl and Glenna. All these years. Why is it taking that long? Are we strong enough, or we're not pushing our the representatives and senators enough? Because there's a roots to this problem. Because I know Nosy the elephant was many years. I had many shows on Nosy, and I look at it and I was like, what is going on here? Where are we failing? We have to be a part of the solution, not the ongoing problem, and do it. It doesn't take that long. And we got a packed house, ladies. This is awesome. Do you want to take some callers right now? But first, Glenna, can you give the website out? And callers, please be patient, because I'm going to try to get enough information to get it out there. But please be patient. I will be getting to you. But go ahead, Glenna, with your website and Facebook.
Our organization is MassachusettsForElephants.org, and the same for Instagram and Facebook, and we have are going to be spending some time updating our website over the holidays. But there are a lot of resources there in terms of books and movies and educational other organizations that we support and donate to quarterly, a different organization around the world that protects and advocates for elephants. There's a whole lot of information on what you can do and how you can and help, and if you want to volunteer. So please, we'd love to hear from you. That's it.
Yes, and audience, please, check them out, because every time I have guests on, or whether if it's 2, 3, 4 times, I always check out their current update on their website or their Facebook pages or X or LinkedIn, and try to. I can't help all of them because there's so many. This list is huge. We got critical issues from every angle out there, everyone, and let's get these astronomical numbers out. These animals need to be treated with dignity and respect and go to freedom. We love our freedom, so do they. And then they have families just like we do, But are you ladies ready to take some calls? We've got a packed house here. Thank you, listeners.
Sure.
This is awesome. You want ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Area code 702. You are live and on the air. Welcome to Animal Advocates Radio, Voices Carry for Animals. You have any comments or questions for Sheryl or Glenna? Go right ahead.
I have a comment, though. Thank you so much for taking my call, Debbie. Glenna and Sheryl, nice to hear you on air. I am connected with Carrie LeBlanc. So I was in Vegas. I moved from Vegas to out here in Wheeling, West Virginia. But okay. Yes, and very nice lady. Of course, she's busy, so she has no time to talk as the head honcho of the event planner and such. But yes, I was supposed to meet her a couple of years ago before I moved out here, though 2 years ago. But it was, I guess, everything was, the coordination, everything, didn't pan out as you wanted it to be. The rodeo protest within the UNLV campus. I know this is different, not relevant to the elephants, but nevertheless animals, and it didn't pan out as we wanted, though. And every December around this time, the rodeo would pack houses, and I'd show up. I was living within the campus back then, and she would hold also another event, though, which is the dolphins at the Strip. Compassion International. So yes, so that plus, and the elephants, though, I'm not aware of that, though, but I want to thank you so much for speaking on behalf of them. I'm only familiar with Lucy the elephant, as I hear on Debbie's show, though, but here it's rarely talked about except for on Facebook with Sangeeta. I hear convincing the people in the mahouts in India to use robot elephants.
Yes.
Yes, and I hope
hopeful.
Yes, and I haven't seen the entire documentary yet, the one on Unchained TV. I'm not promoting, but that's where it's for free, and I saw part of it, though, and I've just been busy doing a juggling act. And you mind me asking? I got a question on. Do you mind me asking? Are you two vegan? Just wondered out of curiosity.
Yeah. Well, I am.
Which one? Who?
Sheryl, I am.
Sheryl. Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. Well, let me ask you, how many years have you been vegan?
About 15.
Wow. I don't know how you and another friend who's been vegan for 20 years on Facebook has done it, but
actually,
congratulations.
No, I think it's been less than that. I'm sorry. I went 100% vegan when I started my group, so it's been about 13. Yeah, but I was almost vegan for like a few years before, so So it wasn't
it's not an
100%
easy diet.
vegan. So.
It's not an easy diet, I can tell you that for sure. Yeah, it's not easy vegan.
But it feels so good. It's very it makes me feel so much better in various ways. So it's worth it for me. Yeah.
Yes, and for me it's been 9 years. So 9 years.
Oh,
and
good for you.
yes, so it's next year makes a decade on my.
Congrats.
I went vegan. Yeah, I went vegan on my 37th birthday. So I decided that's it after a year and a half of being a vegetarian. It was thanks to Food Not Bombs. Everyone's familiar with that. Those who are activists are familiar with Food Not Bombs. Vegetarian for a year, and another vegan activist convinced me to go vegan, and then the research and the video and such. And yes, but I know it's not irrelevant to the elephants, but thank you so much for speaking on behalf of them. Yes, and for all animals.
They deserve the best. They're gentle giants. I don't see pictures of them out in the wild, don't you? I mean, if you think about it, would you rather see them in a circus or out in the wild with their families? My answer is out in the wild with their families, socializing, having fun, and enjoying it. And that's all of them. Tigers, bears, all of them. They deserve to be out there and not in the same scenery every time, and not having a life, this prison life that they don't want or like. So we got to do something, everyone. All these animals out there, they deserve so much better, and it's up to us to make it happen. Because without us, nothing changes, and it gets worse. If you do nothing, expect no changes, right, ladies? You have to do something.
Yes, Debbie.
Put your mind to it and do something, because it counts. Your voices and actions really do matter. Okay, so if you want to see change, you got to take action out there. Step up to the plate and help them out. I hear some other, waiting for somebody else to take action. No, you're important, all of you. So once the numbers keep going and adding up, and strength in numbers, that's where it's coming in, and seeing those changes. Because this victory right here, H4915, big shout out to Governor Healey that signed it. Hey, that took a lot of teamwork. It took a lot of years, okay? And so it can be done. I just wish they would do it sooner, because the longer the victory takes, the longer the animals suffer. And that's not good, because they all are, all lives matter, including all the animals. We're all on this earth temporarily, including all the animals, and we got to make the best of it. And generations coming up of animals and humans, the ones that ain't born yet. We have to make a better life for them, because, as you know, I'm not going to be on this earth forever, and none of us are. So we have to keep, bringing in advocates and training them and letting them know what really goes on behind closed doors, and not close their eyes. Because when we close our eyes, we are part of the problem, not the solution. Okay, so that's my main thing, is being a part of the solution and get rid of the problem. Our voices matter, everyone.
I agree.
Yep.
And nothing wrong with taking a break now and then, but, nevertheless, you have to get back to work again, keep fighting, but, nothing wrong with taking a break and,
Okay, well, hey, thanks for calling in there. That's my Facebook friend.
Thank you.
Heroin.
Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah, and her dog's name's Harry. So
Harry's my English bulldog. He's a rescue dog. Saved from an untimely death in the streets of Vegas. You.
Yes. Okay, and, thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to you, Facebook friends.
Happy Thanksgiving, Debbie.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. I can't believe it's already here. Can you? I mean, it comes so fast.
I give it a name, though, Thanksgiving, because it's to give thanks for everything that's, in the earth body. As Debbie said, we're not here forever, Thanksgiving.
Right.
Thankful for a life, for the animals, for the earth, everything that's provided to us. And
that's right. When we all band together, and I see these victories come in, hey, whether I'm involved or wasn't, hey, that takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication and involvement, everyone. And it's not that difficult. You know, I'm with the groups I admin on and pages I admin on and the website and everything, it's not that difficult. Once you learn it, you get faster and faster. And I pull up tabs like sharing these shows, 5 tabs at once, bam, bam, bam. And it gets out there. Connections, word of mouth. And ladies, I would love to see this TISPA bill come back reintroduced. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to do what I can to help out. When it comes in a bill, 2025, got my support. Standing with it, you know. That's what it takes. Mm-hmm. But anybody wants to, we got 5 minutes left. If anybody wants to call in, area code 310-982-4270. We got a packed house in the queue. If you want to speak in the queue, press 1. And try to refrain from any noises in the background because we're almost running out of time here. And another great show, ladies. This has been so awesome. It's so inspiring and informative. You know, everyone, open your eyes to the abuse and neglect that's going on out there. There's no excuse for it. And if we don't stand up for them, it's going to continue and get worse, okay? So we have to be their voices. They feel that, you know, they have feelings just like we do. They eat, they sleep, they walk. They just in another language. And I'm a real big animal lover, and I love animals. And they're so awesome. You know, whether if the pet's at home, you know, they're getting great care. But we got to think about the ones that are not getting good care, whether it's domestic or wild or farm, whatever angle out there, we can do something. And all of us, with these, you know, Massachusetts for elephants and what you call it, Sheryl, Wamara?
Wamara, yeah.
Yeah, Wamara. Doing what you guys are doing, keep it up. I mean, it's so encouraging to know that
I just want to say
really
that
care.
Massachusetts for elephants is not done yet with the state legislation. They're working now, next session, they're going to be working on a bill, working harder on a bill called the Ivory Bill. Do you want to talk about that, Glenna?
Yes, thanks, Sheryl. It's a bill that is being equally died in committee for years and years and years. It's a bill to ban the sale of elephant ivory and rhino horn in the state of Massachusetts. Under the Obama administration, ivory was banned from being brought into this country. I'm really afraid that that's going to change in the next presidential administration, given that the Trump sons are both trophy hunters. The Massachusetts in 2016, there was this IFAW and Humane Society study which determined that Massachusetts was the 4th biggest market for illegal ivory sales in the country. We've got to do something about this.
And ladies, the radio's going to shut down here in less than a minute, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. But I want to thank you both for coming on air this evening, and welcome back next year, and hopefully I got my new podcast. Yes, and next Thursday, December 5th, we have Kate McFall on the Florida State Director of the Humane Society of the United States coming on board. Welcome her back. And hope you tune in 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Mountain, and 4 o'clock Pacific. I hope you all join in. That will be the last show of 2024. And I wanted to bring up this coming Sunday, I will be a guest on Turnbuckle Turmoil with Jason Amos at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Blog Talk Radio. And it's called Debbie Dahmer Joins Turnbuckle Turmoil. It'll be about my father. He was a professional wrestler back in the early 50s to the late 50s to the early 80s. His name was Chief Whitehall, a.k.a. George Dahmer. He wrestled for 32 years, WWF to WWE. He was severely neglected in a nursing home back in 2008 that led to his death. It was sad and devastating. But I'll be on there if you want to listen in. I'll be promoting it on my timeline and Voices Carry for Animals. Hope you join me, all you animal advocates, because it's going to be rocking for my father. May he rest in peace and love him very much. Hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving and be safe out there. And hope you join us next week, okay? Thanks so much. Good night, everyone. God bless.
Good night.